Okay, everyone. So thank you for joining. I'm Michael, and we're going to talk about from inquiry to client, fixing intake gaps in small and mid-sized law firms, obviously solos as well. We're clerks. We're doing a enjoy talking with lawyers and helping them with their intake problems. That's all we do here at Clerx. And yeah, let's start. So today we're going to start with why intake matters so much and what are the intake pitfalls that you can avoid. A little introduction to Clerx. Basically, what are the building blocks of a strong intake workflow and practical ways to improve your intake? We're going to listen to a call and analyze it, and then see how Clerx helps other law firms. So let's start to get to know each other. Ty, can you pull up those two questions as a start?
Yeah, sure. It's gonna be happen in a soon.
Okay, so should I continue or we can wait for the poll?
No, you can continue. So the poll is running and people have time to answer everything.
Oh, okay. So would love to know what best describes your role and what practices you guys do. So why is intake so important, right? Intake is your revenue engine. The first thing that someone thinks about a law firm, what you guys do, is it a relevant case, right? They're Googling you, they heard from a friend. This is the first point when the client, the potential client, is interacting with your firm, right? It's the first impression. And so many clients are choosing the law firm based on this first impression. So you want to make sure you're taking a good care of what your clients are hearing, right? Who is taking care of it? Are you answering it yourself? Is someone else doing it for you, right? This directly impacts your conversion and revenue, this first experience. Think of you when you're buying a product or you're going to a new store. How do you feel there, right? This first impression is so important for conversion, right? Also, a lot of clients just hire the first responsive firm, right? People are tired. They're not going to talk with 10 law firms. If you answer fast and you answer immediately, they're going to probably choose you if you actually do the, and can help them with their legal practice and you're in their budget, of course, right? Also, missed or delayed responses mean lost cases, right? Again, if I'm Googling immigration lawyers near me and you're the first response, great, but you have to pick up the phone. And basically, the intake maximizes your ROI on marketing spend. Aren't we all spending thousands of dollars every month on marketing? But we need to make sure that the intake actually converts those marketing spends into paying clients. And most importantly, and this is why we have this session, small improvements can drive significant growth, right? If you're going to close one or two more clients each month, that's a significant revenue, especially if you're thinking of a case that could worth thousands of dollars or even dozens of thousands of dollars. So why good leads still fail to become clients, right? One in three calls is never answered live, right? Especially if you are picking up the phone yourself as a lawyer or if your intake team is exhausted, one in three calls, right? So take your marketing spend and discount it by 33%. You can close this gap. I had a client who had 50% missed calls, right? And you can lower it to even zero, right? You have solutions like what we're doing, you have external call centers, or you have people that are actually picking up the phone, have large teams. But usually solo practitioners and small law firms don't have the resources to have so many people answering the phone. And as we mentioned earlier, most clients hire the first lawyer they reach out to. So if you don't pick up the phone, it becomes challenging to convert them as a client. So fast response dramatically improve your conversion rates. If it's a follow-up, right? If someone leaves their details on their website or is texting you, the time it takes you to answer them is really crucial. And also after hours or weekends, right? Sometimes people are on their weekends and they think of the problems they haven't solved throughout the week because people are so busy. So they will Google you or they will ask their friends during weekends. They might reach out. So they're not going to wait for Monday morning. If you have an option to engage with them earlier, that's better. It can do it yourself, or you can do it with AI or other technology companies just like us. So we can do it for you. Another thing that's a problem is that intake is inconsistent, right? You need to make sure that your team is aware of what's the manual and guide and the steps that you're taking when someone is calling, right? Like, what are the questions that we're asking? How do we convert a caller into a consultation? That's what you have to have in mind when you think about intake. It's not about having a conversation. You know exactly what you're going to ask, and you need to actively listen to what the caller is telling you, right? This is the key. Active listening, but also be on top of the call. You want to give them the confidence that you know what you're doing. You want to show them that you master your art and that everything will be okay. We'll get back to it later, right? The most important thing when someone's calling you to convert them is make sure they know that everything will be okay. And yeah, expectations. Think of yourself when you reach out and you want to buy a service or buy a product. You're the buyer. You're the king, right? So you expect instant 24 response, and you want to know that what you're looking for, that you've got to the right place. So this is the goal of a sweet, concise, short intake that will convert more callers into clients. So later, we'll love to know who's taking the intake and where are your inquiries coming from, right? Today, there are so many channels that you have to be on top of it. Like 50 years ago, you had just a phone book. My mom sometimes, as a joke, is saying, "Oh, if a law firm wants to improve, their the demand and improve themselves in the marketing, why wouldn't it change their like law firm name to AA something, and then Google will put it first?" And I was telling mom, this doesn't work like this anymore. You have to pay Google so much money to actually be the first. It's not enough to be Aaron, right? That's a double A over there. So yeah, you guys pay a lot of money in order to be there. So people will get into Google and will do the intake. Let's continue. So what makes a difference for solos and small firms, right? This is what today is all about. You're not Morgan and Morgan and have hundreds of people who are picking up phones 24/7, which is ideal, right? But it's very costly. You might do it yourself. You're the attorney and you're very busy. You have your own life, you have the practice, and you want to make, a living. And every missed call might be immediate revenue that impacts you. This is extremely important and relevant for you guys. Sometimes if you have staff, they're very limited. They have other stuff that they're doing. It's not just talking with people who might not sign up with you. And again, first impression really matters. If you're the attorney, they need to like you. They need to know that everything will be okay. So have a concise conversation. You don't want to have a 30 or 60 minutes call with someone who might not end up paying for you unless you have free consultation. Then you can do it on the spot. But it's completely fine to say, hey, let's take 2 or 3 minutes. I'll understand what you need, and I can get back to you when we start working on Monday or tomorrow at 6. You give them a precise date, offer them the option to speak with you, but you don't want to take every random call while you are working. You want to make sure your other existing clients are super happy with the legal work that you're doing. So you have to make sure that intake is not interrupting your day-to-day life. Balancing legal work and intake is challenging. So as I've said, you might want to take a minute, listen to the call, try to schedule a consultation, either free or paid, and get back to your work. Unless it's a super urgent case, then you do it. But I would say those urgent cases, you need to be more careful about choosing. I see too many lawyers that think that every call is their next big thing, which could be the case, but statistically it's not. So, do your great legal work and make sure you convert a caller to the next call, right? Don't talk with them for 60 minutes. A lot of the time you'll give them free advice and it's okay, right? But it's not the way you want to use your time. How your intake might look today, right? So we mentioned that calls go unanswered or go to voicemail. People don't like to go to voicemail, right? They rather speak with someone right now, or at least, again, with AI solutions that you have today, you have more engaged and more educated conversation with the caller, and they know exactly if they've got to the right place and what's the next step. Delay or inconsistent follow-up, right? And that's also something that legal boards help you with, right? Who is in charge of moving things forward? Intake is just the beginning, but you want to make sure that your case is managed right. You know who owns every part of this flow, and that you take the successful intake and make the consultation, if it's free or for paid, for a full case, right? So while in intake you only have 2, 3, 4 minutes to speak with a person, when there's the full consultation, there I will recommend you guys, even if it's a 30 minutes or 40-minute consultation, give more, be kind, right? If you can be helpful, this will extremely help you as you think about your growth, right? It's not just paying Google or Meta for ads. It's also, wow, I talked with this person for an hour and a half about my case. I feel confident about what they can do for me, right? So once we cross this intake, when someone's actually paying you money, the first impression experience still continues to move forward, and then you can take it, for the rest of your team to manage it. But ownership is extremely important, and always communicate what's next for the client. The caller, they're probably, they're talking with lawyers, I know, a few times in their lives, right? They're not used to do it. So think about it from their shoes, your audience. How will I help this person feel like everything's going to be okay? Um, okay, let's continue. What often intake looks like, key details often missed. So remember I talked earlier about how important it is to know what questions you're about to ask, right? You want to have a picture of how good this case is for me, how much money I can make of it. Can I really help this person? Do I have the time to help this person, right? So if you're taking the phone call yourself, you need to make sure you get all those points, right? And kind of use your judgment on the spot. But if someone else is doing it for you, you need to make sure and set expectations with your intake care or receptionist, right? Or again, if you're working with an AI vendor like us, you need to make sure that the flow is very clear for each practice and case. You actively listen, and then you put the right questions. It makes the impression so much better when it feels like the person that is calling, they know that, one, you listen to them, and two, you react on spot, right? For example, if it's a car accident, right? Like all personal injury lawyers know exactly, right? Where did the accident occur? What date? Were anyone, with you at the car, right? Are you okay, right? Reassuring all of those, emotions. It's a very emotional call to this lawyer. So you're putting this structure, right? And then the person feels, oh my God, everything's going to be okay. And last point, no clear tracking or accountability. Again, it's extremely important that at your firm, it's who is doing intake, who will take the consultation, and once the consultation is done, how are we making sure we're converting them for a full retainer, right? From $200 or $300 for the initial consultation, how do we convert them to $8,000? And that the answer is you'd start with a great intake, and then this first touch point of the consultation, you're kind, you're structured, you show thought leadership about what you're doing, and then people will continue and be your clients and will refer others to you. Another poll, you guys, what's your biggest intake challenge? We mentioned a few. Not answering calls. Sometimes intake can be unstructured, and then you can talk hours, and you never converted in person. When someone's calling you, they don't know if they're going to take your service. They're just learning to know you, right? So it is a challenge for you as a solo practitioner to take all those calls. It can get you up at any moment at night, or you're in the shower, you're with your kids. You need to put structure to it. How does your firm currently use a case management or intake system, right? So today with technology, there's so much you can do. You can manage the cases, you can manage the flow, and your intake, right? Again, we're doing AI intake, but we can complement what you guys are already doing. You have to put systems in place. It cannot be random that if you have a receptionist, it's just taking calls and then improvise, right? You have to have a plan. What are the questions you're asking, and how do you make it a concise call to action? Let's schedule a consultation. I see you're a great fit. Everything will be okay. What are key building blocks for a high converting intake? And then we'll listen to 2 quick calls and analyze what worked there. So immediate response across all channels. We mentioned that you guys spend thousands of dollars. If it's for Google or Meta, everything you'll give them, they'll take, right? But you want to make sure that you answer it, right? If, for example, I'm going to look up for, I don't know, an electrician, right? I'll probably need it for today or tomorrow. The people already called the lawyer. They know they're ready. You're on their hot leads. You have to make sure you have very immediate response across all channels. So it's social media, Facebook is very strong. Google is very strong. TikTok is getting more traction as well. You have to be very clear about calls and all the media channels and who is responsible in your firm for taking it, right? Don't wait and check your Facebook every week and then see who messaged you, right? You have to make sure you're doing it all the time. Consistent structured intake process. Being structured has a lot of a great impression, right? Again, you need to look like you know exactly what you're doing, that you're doing it all day, all night with thousands of other clients. Clear lead qualification criteria. Don't take cases that you just don't take, right? And it's okay to communicate it to your callers. You can refer them to someone else. You should have a network of lawyers and peers in your neighborhood and just refer people. It's great. One day you're giving a case, one day you're getting a case, right? And it's also good for your time. If it's a too small of a case for you, don't take it. Or if you don't have time, it's better to say I don't have time right now than wait and the client expects certain legal, services on time. Don't fail clients. That will hurt your reputation, right? So it's really important that you stay honest with yourself about what you can take and what you can't. And if there's, demand is surging, good for you. Take someone who can help you with the legal work. As I mentioned earlier, practice and case specific questions are extremely important, right? You should know exactly what you're going to ask. So you don't need to follow up with people. People don't like to be followed up. If I just called your law firm, why are you following up with 3, 4, 5, 6 questions? It doesn't look professional. You want to look as professional as possible. You want to make sure that all the key details are in the intake, and don't ask questions that are not relevant at this stage, okay? For example, how did you hear about us? That's a great question. That's a great question that I see many lawyers skip. Don't skip it. It gives you a lot of insights later on as you learn about what to do. But if it's a car accident, try to get 5, 6 questions and don't go above it. That person needs to know everything will be okay and you can speak it in the consultation later. Okay? Lastly, fast scheduling, seamless handoff, and a quick follow-up and tracking, okay? Make sure that once you've got someone to the intake, there's someone who's going to follow up with it. Make sure they reach, they get to the consultation. If they don't, follow up immediately. When leads are hot, it's the best time to engage with them. It's so much harder later when it's a few days later. They don't even remember you. Okay, example, a new prospect client is calling, right? And we'll get to a demo later in a few. Instant response to your query. You have to be warm and prophetic. That's the most important thing. People are calling you at the worst moment of their life. Then, contact details and case details. Extremely important. Don't ask for more, okay? If you have practice in case-specific qualifying questions, for example, for a divorce case, right? Who's the other side, right? You want to make sure there are kids involved. You know the best. Include it and make sure your team is also aware what are the qualifying questions. And confirm fit and urgency level. Not all cases were born equal, right? So is it a good fit for my client, for my firm? Is it urgent? If so, you have to act, immediately if it's urgent. And if it's too small case, again, you can refer it to someone else or just be honest about what you can or cannot do. And schedule consultation and confirm next steps, right? Everything is a process. Everything is a process. You have to know exactly what's the next step, but the caller is not aware of it, right? So you have to communicate it. Let's schedule a 15 or 30-minute consultation with the lawyer, and then we can help you out. Confirm the next steps. After the consultation, the lawyer, if you choose to move forward with us, will take care of your green card immigration process, right? This usually takes 1, 2 months, 3 months, right? As they know and feel that things are communicated and there's transparency, it really helps you as you sell yourself, you sell your practice, right? Intake is all about sale, and sell is all about the person feeling that they've got to the right place and that are willing to pay for your service. So, what can you do today? 1, prioritize cases based on value and urgency. 2, score and track leads in your CRM, right? I know solo practitioners sometimes don't have a CRM. It's something really, really basic that can really help you out. You have to make sure you manage all those, clients and potential callers. You're paying so much to get them. Use the CRM, use structured solutions, again, like Legalboards that can help you see transparency what's going on. You don't really remember who called and when, right? Number 3, keep first calls brief and outcome focused. As I mentioned, people would like to know everything will be okay, and they don't want to feel like their time is being wasted. Don't waste your time, don't waste their time. Number 4, book consultations quickly for qualified leads, because leads are getting colder, right? So you have to ask yourself, how many days does it take today for me to get back to a person who was looking for consultations? Did I close them in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? Have those numbers. Try to get them as low as possible. Tracking allows you to get better. Number 5, treat intake as a true sales function. Some people love to do sales, some people don't, but that's your job, right? You have to make a living. So think of how are you getting more, money by helping people, right? How are you very empathetic towards the person? Are you transparent about what you're doing? Are you honest about what you're doing? Think of you when you need to buy a car, right? There are certain people you will buy a car from, some you not. You want to be the person that people will buy a car from, okay? And improve continuously by reviewing calls and numbers. You can listen to calls, you can see insights. At Clerx, we provide all the transcripts and all the calls. You can listen to them and provide insights that can help you get better and also learn where you put your marketing budget, right? If 75% of the people are from Florida and they need immigration and need it in Spanish, you can make sure that your Google ads are aiming to these people, right? What is your firm known for, right? You double down on those insights, and those insights exist in the intake. This is why it's extremely important also to ask, how did they hear about you, okay? Okay, let's go and listen to a call. That's an example call that Clerx is having with a potential client, and then we'll analyze what worked well. This is me talking with our AI, and let's see. Gonna be 2 minutes.
Hi, this is Donna from Clerx Law on a recorded line. How can I help you
Time just making sure they can hear it. Okay, good. Let's go.
today?
Hey, I need help with a divorce.
I'm sorry you're dealing with this. I know these situations can be stressful. You've reached the right place, and I'd be happy to gather a few details so we can help. May I get your full name?
Joshua Black.
Thanks, Joshua. How did you hear about us today?
I think I Googled you guys a few days ago, so I'm just reaching out again.
Got it. Can you tell me a little more about your situation?
Well, I'm having difficult times, as you can probably imagine, and I just want someone to help me through this process.
I understand. To help us route your matter properly, may I ask who the other party is, whether children are involved, and whether there are any urgent issues such as custody, support, or safety concerns?
Yes, absolutely. My wife's name is Judy Black, and we have one child, but I don't know of any urgent safety issues, to be honest.
Thank you for sharing that, Joshua. Based on what you've told me, this sounds like the type of family law matter our firm regularly handles. The best next step is to schedule a 30-minute initial consultation with one of our attorneys. The consultation is $350, and during that meeting, the attorney will review the details and discuss possible next steps with you. Would you like me to text you the scheduling link now?
Yes, please.
Sure. Is this the best mobile number for receiving the link?
Yes.
Great. I'm sending it now.
Thanks. I just got it.
Wonderful. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No. Thank you. That will be all.
Thank you for calling Clerx Law. We wish you the best, and please let us know if you need anything else.
Great. What made this a strong intake call? First, it's me. I felt hurt from the start, right? So again, let's think about your audience. I have serious issues. I'm getting a divorce. This is terrible. I'm gonna Google family lawyers near me. I'm gonna ask someone, right? So I need to make sure that the person I'm gonna work with, either if I'm talking with the attorney or their intake team, I want to feel like they talk with people with these specific problem every day and that they hear me out, right? Number two, the right facts were gathered to qualify the matter, right? So if you're doing family law and someone's having a divorce, it's a very clear. If you have other specific questions, so like cases you don't take, right? That's also okay to communicate there or filter out those cases and then refer them to someone else. Number three, marketing attribution, right? Like, how did someone hear about you? It's extremely important. If it's Google, if it's like an ad, if it's a friend, right? If someone said, sent them over, thank them, send an email, say thank you. That person remember you for the next time, right? Conversation adapted to the caller specific situation. So you need to know exactly what you need to ask for all the specific situations, or you need to make sure that your team is super aware of what are those questions, right? When you send a questionnaire offline, a person can, you don't need to remember anything, but you need to make sure that you have all the questions in front of you, or at least if you're taking the call, I don't know, you're in the theater and you just went to, to take a little break, ask yourself, aside of their contact details, qualifying the matter, is there anything that could help the consultation better, right? You want to have the consultation, but later from a consultation, you want to take the full case, right? So what are those key details that you need? Try to memorize them. And the more, complex the tree of question is, right? The more you can go, like, you can use technology, right? Again, we do it with you guys. We sit on your flow and we make sure that all those questions are being asked. Again, caller was reassured and guided with confidence. This is extremely important. Think about your sales, right? If someone's buying a car, they want to feel like this is safety, that the person knows what they're doing, right? And that your friends are using it. So one way to shine confidence is reassuring them everything will be okay, that you're dealing with those specific cases, right? You can repeat that. This is exactly the cases that we're doing, right? That gives them a lot of confidence in what you guys do. Beside of what you tell about yourself, having other people that you're helping with helps. Telling them about how do you deal with this and thinking of next steps, extremely important. Okay, next steps were clear and easy to understand, right? I know that I'm going to have a consultation. I know you can mention the lawyer if it's one, if it's a few, there are multiple lawyers, so don't mention it if you don't know, but I know how much it's going to cost me, what's the length of it. If you need to tell them they need to bring anything for that consultation, do that too, okay? And the call ended on a helpful professional note. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes that's your 11th call of the hour, right? So still, people remember the first impression and the last impression. So when you greet the caller, it's extremely important. Try to be empathetic. Try to be energetic as much as you can. So, be professional, but make sure you're always helpful and that you have this energy that they're looking for. When they think of a lawyer, they think of television, right? About all those big guys that are in court. They want you to be their star, right? So try to find the right way, your tone and your style that will end the call in a professional note. It's a lot of like, okay, I'm really looking forward to help you out, right? It helps with the confidence and your professional, esteem. Let's go now with an outbound call. If someone is putting their contact details or it's a missed call, right? You know that someone needs help, right? They called you. So you need to follow up. So in this case, we do have contacts about what's going on. So it's through a website chat or text. And this is going to be the first time that they engage with the firm, right? Again, this is using our AI software, and it will be just 1 minute. We're not going to hear the full intake. This is a more detailed car accident flow. That's also possible, but keep it under 5 minutes. People just want to have the consultation and talk, with the lawyer later. Okay, and then we'll talk about what went really well here.
Hi, am I speaking to David Johnson?
Yes.
Hi, David. My name is Jeremy with Lawrence and Bradford. I'm reaching out about the motor vehicle accident you experienced. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'd like to take a moment to see how we can support you. Is now a good time to talk?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, David. I'm here to help by gathering some details about your situation. It'll take about 5 minutes, and if your case qualifies, I'll connect you with an attorney or set up a call for you. Do you mind sharing on what date and time did this incident occur?
Sure, it happened on March 10th around 5:30 p.m.
Thank you. Where did this occur?
It was in New York at the intersection of Main Street and Fifth Avenue.
Thank you. Can you walk me through what happened?
I was driving my car, a sedan, and I had
And it continues and continues. I will go now to the analysis because the beginning is important, and now there are many other questions that are relevant and specific and key for this car accident, right? So you need to be on top of what you need to ask, right? And everything again was AI, but it can be a human that's doing it as well, yourself, your team, or again, a vendor like us. So fast flow up within 5 minutes, right? So we follow up immediately. You don't want the lead to get cold, right? So if someone called your firm, you have to get back to them, right? Sometimes it's like, I know it's not the right case, but you have to make sure and qualify it ASAP. If someone's reaching out on a website, right? Some people prefer you get back to them, but do that ASAP. The chances you're going to close the lead 5 days later are much lower. That person who was on the web chat is doing it on your website is going to do it with the next lawyer as well, right? You want it to be yours. Number two, clear, empathetic introduction, right? You're now following up with someone. It's extremely important. Maybe they're busy, maybe they forgot. You want to be clear about who you are and why you're calling them, right? And ask if it's a good time, right? Permission-based opening. You're intervening into someone's day. Is the good time? Number four, clear expectations for the conversation, right? So, for example, in the call, it was saying we're going to ask a few questions. It's going to take around 5 minutes, and then we can see how we can help, right? Then the person knows, do I have time to talk with this person? Oh, this person also knows what he's talking about, right? It's going to be 5 minutes. Sure, we can check it out, right? Because they reached out to you, right? But now it's, again, all this first impression really matters, how you present yourself. Now, thoughtful, case-specific qualifying questions like car accident, like immigration, law firms with family law issues, all of that. Smooth transition to consulting booking. The goal of the call is to make it a consultation. Reassuring everything will be okay. Reassuring experience that made the call feel heard, especially when someone's calling about an urgent matter. You need to make sure that they feel heard. A little about us. You heard our technology speaks with clients. We take all those multi-channels that today you have to work with, web chat, SMS, phone calls, social media, and make sure everything is saved under your preferred CRM. We also host it ourselves. But if you work with Clio, with MyCase, all those, we work with them. If you want, you can scan the QR code and schedule a demo with me. A little about our products, right? So it's a suite. We have the receptionist taking all the phone calls. We have the website chat answering. It's the same brain. Donna is answering phone calls. Donna is answering website chats through SMS. And our clients are saving time. They cut overhead and they scale, and they make sure that the dollars are well spent, right? You make sure that you go to all those channels. You double down on marketing and spend thousands on ads. Make sure someone is picking up the phone is doing the right intake. In our dashboard, and it's important wherever you're working with us or you're working with someone else, listen to those calls, see those insights, right? You can learn so much from listening to yourself talking. I learn so much when I listen to myself talking. You guys should do the same for your intake team, right? You can see how long are those calls, right? You want to make sure that it's around 5 minutes if it's a long intake. But if it's just the first introductory call, make it 2 or 3 minutes and then see who's taking care about it. You make sure that there's someone accountable for following up with the intake, right? So we give you visibility for your appointments, for the calls, and for your top performers, who is taking meetings and when. Then we're supporting all the integrations with all the big legal tech companies, Legalboard, where you can manage all the flow after you start managing your case. And as a CRM, like Filevine, Clio, MyCase, everything is synced into your software. If you guys want to talk with me and us, so you can scan this QR code here. We offer 30% of your first month. If you're going to mention it was the Clerx and Legalboards webinar, right? How things will look. We're going to have a 45-minute session with me and our CTO and team, and then we can build you a line in 24 to 48 hours. So all your calls will be 24/7 answered by AI that is tailored for your needs and for all the channels, right? So calls, website chats, SMS, and social media. Yeah, we provide full support during onboarding and after you launch, and that's what makes us special. We're a white glove service, and I want to thank you guys so much for your time and for Ty and Legalboards for hosting us. If you have any questions, you can follow up directly with me. This is my email, or talk to us to Clerx. And yeah, thank you so much.